Since the pandemic began, consumers are creating more meals at home and they're looking for new food options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As well, they're keen to try meal kits and new takeaway options that will make it easier for them to feed their families. Today, we're putting the spotlight on sunflower oil. I'm going to be making fried hush puppies on a bed of sauteed kale and a drizzle of chilled tahini sauce. For this recipe, we're going to be using sunflower oil as an ingredient and for deep frying. So let's start with the hush puppy mix. I've got my cornmeal flour here. I'm going to put in some all-purpose flour, baking powder. Now I have my two liquids. I have my milk and my beaten egg. So I'm going to put those two together. A little bit of a mix. I've got chopped red onion. I'm going to put that in. Now I'm going to pour my liquids on top of the dry mix and just whisk gently to incorporate all the ingredients. And we want to mix it until we have a nice smooth batter. And you want to leave it for a couple of minutes just to give it a chance for the flour to absorb the liquids and get the batter a little bit thicker before we put it into the oil. So that's the batter ready. We're just going to wait for that to absorb for a couple of minutes. So now we're going to make the chilled tahini sauce that's going to get drizzled over the hush puppies. Starting off with the sesame tahini, going to put in a little bit of salt and a little bit of garlic. I'm going to whisk that in, and now I'm going to start whisking in the liquids, which is the lemon juice to start with. So I've just whisked in the lemon juice, and now I'm going to add the water. And using the whisk, just gradually work the water in to the tahini and the lemon juice with the garlic and the salt. Just gradually whisking it in until it becomes a nice, smooth sauce. And you want to keep that refrigerated until you need it. There, and that's ready. So now I'm going to saute off the kale, putting in some sunflower oil and then some garlic. Going to saute off the garlic just a little. Now I'm going to add the kale to the fry pan. And now I'm going to put on the lid and let it steam for a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn off the heat. And that'll be ready in a couple of minutes. So now let's fry off the hush puppies. I'm going to make sure my sunflower oil is up to temperature. I want 175 degrees Celsius. And sunflower oil is perfect for deep frying. It has a high heat point of 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and it doesn't smoke up the kitchen like some other oils. Okay, we're up to temperature. I'm going to turn down the heat, and I'm going to use an ice cream scoop to form the hush puppies. I'm going to drop that into the oil. And I also have a little wire lifter here that I'm going to use to move the hush puppies around so they don't get cooked just on one side. As you can see, they're floating in the oil. And for deep frying for industrial purposes, using sunflower oil, what you'll find, you won't have to change the oil as often as you would with other kinds of oils. Has a longer shelf life. So the hush puppies are floating. Just going to make sure that they're moved around and cooking evenly. They're going to take about 2 minutes to cook. So while they're cooking, I'm going to check over here on my kale. And that is wilting very nicely. That's almost ready. That's perfect. So now our hush puppies are ready. They're nice and golden. Beautiful. Another thing about sunflower oil, it doesn't absorb into fried foods like other oils. There we go. I'm going to put it onto some absorbent paper there. Move it over here closer to my plate. And now I'm going to finish off the plate. I'm going to take my sauteed or wilted kale and put that on the plate. Now some wonderful light and fluffy hush puppies. And finish off, we're going to put on the chilled tahini sauce. And before I'm finished plating, I'm going to take some nice thin sliced red onion to go over the top. And there's the hush puppies deep fried in the sunflower oil. And then we have our sauteed kale and sunflower oil, some garlic, a little bit of salt, and our chilled tahini sauce.